Welcome back, it's me Lou, and I'm here again for another action figure unboxing and review. Today I am showcasing this Marvel Avengers Captain Marvel. Alright, so this figure belonged to the budget line of Hasbro action figures that came out in conjunction with Avengers Endgame. These were priced somewhere under $10. And in certain circumstances, you still might be able to find these on the shelves. This toy line was discontinued a couple years ago as it came out in 2018. But my local Meijer store as recently as last week had a couple of the Chitauri figures until I bought them all. So we're taking a look at this. It's Captain Marvel. Truth be told, I have this figure already. It hangs proudly on my wall of Avengers Endgame and Infinity War action figures. Those are all the budget lines. I have them grouped together, and as a display, they look beautiful, all carded up. I don't have all of the Endgame figures though, but the Infinity War figures I do have. I was compelled to buy this recently just because, if you've seen my previous videos, I've been assembling a team of budget Avenger figures. A few weeks back, I bought the Avengers Mech Strike Captain America. And that was a sub $10 figure, and I fell in love with it. And ever since then, I was like, I need a new team of Avengers made up of budget figures. Because I already have the Avengers multiple times over in Marvel Legends form. And as we know, the Marvel Legends, those are more premium. They're aimed at adult collectors, whereas these action figures are aimed towards parents and children, ages 4 and up. So, I needed a Captain Marvel. And I already had this figure. I have actually two versions of this figure. I have this one, and I have the one that comes in a 2-pack with Captain America. And that one, the Captain America, is in his quantum suit. And it's a repaint of a previous Captain America. That one's kind of like a light, bright blue. And the Captain Marvel that comes with that, one of her hands is kind of like glowing. It's producing that energy effect. And her head's kind of like made of a, I want to say maybe like a transparent yellow plastic. So I mean, that's also creating a glowing effect. But what I did there is I wanted that head, so I used that head and took that head off, and I made a custom Magma figure, Magma from the New Mutants. I think I said a lot already. Okay, so let's just take a look at this figure. I can already tell you I love this figure a lot. It's awesome. You get what you pay for, and this is a $9 figure. I found this one on Amazon. And I think I only paid maybe $1 more than what it went for at retail. So here's the package. I just got this today. I got it from a third-party seller. It looks like they removed the price tag here because it kind of has that sticky residue. The beautiful character artwork. You have actress Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel. The likeness of the figure is okay. I don't want to say it looks, like her. It kind of looks like I don't know, it's a little off, but it's still a good action figure. On the back, it says, Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers flies into battle as the mighty hero, Captain Marvel. And other figures in this wave include Ronin, Iron Man, and Captain America, right there. So, let's take a look at this figure and check it out. All right, first impressions out of the first impressions out of the box and still in the plastic tray. I like the figure a lot. This is one of those figures. It's a budget figure, but I think everything here is done beautifully. The sculpting is wonderful. The color choices are great. The shade of red they chose, it's a deep red, but it's not too loud. The finish is a metallic. It's kind of like a subtle blue metallic finish. They capture all the sculpting and perfectly with the details of her costume. So that you have all the piping and the trim. It looks really nice. Her hair is sculpted great. And let's examine the figure up close. Here she is, Captain Marvel. Now, this is a budget figure. As I stated previously, This is a figure that you would have paid for when it came out at $10 or less. They're aimed more so towards parents that want that purchase their children an Avengers figure. For us older collectors, we have the Marvel Legends. Most older collectors are going to prefer those anyways. These figures are smaller than the Marvel Legends. They fall in about 5 to 5.5 inches tall. But don't sleep on these figures. I think they're great. The care and attention and detail that go into them is amazing. The one thing that we're always going to fault them on is their articulation and the paint applications. Because for one, they're not nearly as articulated as the Marvel Legends. Their articulation is a lot more limited. She can turn her head on a ball joint. Her arms rotate. She has elbow bend and elbow swivel, but you cannot move the wrists. There's no waist movement. Her legs, she can only kick out. She can only kick up. She can't kick out. There's no thigh cut, nor is there a boot cut, and there's nothing going on with the ankles. But otherwise, if you look at the figure up close, the detail's really nice. The paint application on her face is a lot better than some of the male figures. Like Thor and Captain America, especially when they're unmasked, the paint applications almost come off a little bit more cartoony, and the characters look a little bit dead and lifeless. Whereas this one, even though it doesn't look exactly like Brie Larson, it's good enough. And I'm almost dare to say it's good enough where it can almost pass off as a more generic likeness. So if you want to put this and mix it into like a more comic-inspired Avengers group, or even like the Gamerverse line, it'd fit perfectly. As you can see, the hair, a lot of detail. It's sculpted nice. It's not just a lump. The emblem on her chest is sculpted beautifully. Overall, it's a great figure. It's nice that on one hand she has the fist, and on the other hand it's kind of like splayed out, and she's ready to do her thing. And it comes with this energy effect. It almost looks like it almost looks like a weird pumpkin, but it fits over her hand. And you can just pretend that, she's charging up, and that she's gonna, blow the hell. I was about to say she's about to blow the hell out of her enemies, but I don't think "blow" is the proper verb I want to use. She's about to disintegrate or vaporize her enemies, not blow them away. Okay, so this is budget Captain Marvel, and since we're on the subject of budget Captain Marvel, let's take a look at some other Captain Marvels. So, as I stated earlier in the video, this is, I think, the third time I've purchased this figure. So, I have it. First time I purchased her, I used it as a display piece. It's on my wall with my other Avengers figure. And then I got the 2-pack, which is this figure. And then her hands are kind of glowing. I was mistaken. I thought her hands might have been like transparent, but they're just kind of like shaded gold, and it's a gradation where it starts out gold and it kind of transitions to the red. And her fist is like that too. It kind of gives her the appearance that she's charged up, and she's gonna not blow them away, but she's about to shoot her energy blasts at the Chitauri or whatever you want to do. So what I did differently was, this figure here initially came with this head, but the head was a resculpt. It wasn't a resculpt, but it was casted in transparent plastic. So it was kind of like see-through, and it almost looked like a solar flare kind of effect. And it just made the overall figure look like she was powered up, and then she was just ready to unleash all her energy. But since I used that head, I took that head off and I put it on a X-Men figure, because I really wanted to make a team of New Mutants, and I need a Magma figure. And Magma, she's one of the OG New Mutant characters, and this head works perfectly. This head works perfectly for Amara, aka Magma. So I took this head off and made a Magma figure. But then it left me with a figure with no head. But some of the Marvel Legends Captain Marvels came with multiple heads, because they wanted to provide you with the option of either giving her mask on or mask off. And I had this spare head, and I'm like, you know what? Let's make this figure, but let's give her with the helmet. And the result was this. And it's alright. The head's roughly the same size, I think. I want to say it might be just 1% larger, because I'm not sure if it's the mohawk that's making it look bigger, but it's cool. I like this look a lot. Carol Danvers Captain Marvel. She's not necessarily like one of my favorite superheroes. I like her a lot, but visually, I think she's one of my favorite characters to look at this visually. Um, the costume design is very similar to Cap in terms of like how it's laid out, and I've said this before about a lot of some of the Marvel Cinematic Universe characters. It looks like all their costumes, regardless of who it is, whether it's Cap, Daredevil, or Captain Marvel, or the Kree, it looks like they're all designed by the same seamstress because they have this thing where it divides their shoulders from their torso. Whether it's like in Cap's case, the shoulder straps. In her case, it's kind of like this trim, and then the designs always stop around the bicep, and then the bicep continues on until it reaches the gauntlet. And on the chest, the designs always start from the shoulders and they converge towards the center. And then you go down the waist, and then there's a belt, and then it's this bear, and then there's the boots. Almost every Marvel, for some reason, like, not every, but there's so many Marvel Cinematic Universe characters where their costumes are laid out the same. And for me, it just bothers me because it's kind of like, another costume that kind of looks like the other ones. But for some reason, I just like that look on her a lot. I think it fits. It does a good balance of balancing what she looks like in the modern comics, yet retaining a more modern film aesthetic. And I don't know, she's a great character. I love the character a lot in the movies, but it pissed me off because I didn't think the Captain Marvel movie was as good as I don't think it was as good as it could have been. I was a little disappointed in it. I kind of felt like, here they were, DC and Warner Brothers. They're making such a big deal of Wonder Woman because it's kind of like, here we have this female protagonist, Gal Gadot is the lead, and we're putting all sorts of money into the marketing and the production of this movie, and it kind of delivered. Whereas Captain Marvel is almost kind of like the similar kind of platform. They were giving us a very strong female protagonist. She was gonna take main stage, and then the movie for me, this fell kind of flat in some areas. Visually, it wasn't as strong as some of the other movies. I don't know. It just really felt kind of flat in certain areas, and I don't know. But I still walked away liking the character a lot, and her story was still cool. But I just felt the execution was imperfect. And then when they used her in Infinity War and in Endgame, I kind of felt gypped again because she's kind of a cosmic character. And she doesn't really make an appearance. She makes an appearance in the beginning of, I think, of Endgame, and then she just kind of pops up at the end and just destroys that ship. But I think that it was such a missed opportunity because in the comic books, she is an Avenger and she has history with them, and it's kind of disappointed me that they didn't use her more. In some weird ways, I'm kind of hoping they use her whenever they bring in the X-Men into the Marvel Disney universe, just because it's Carol Danvers and the history she has with Rogue and her time as Binary when she was actually kind of a pseudo member of the X-Men and lived at the mansion. That stuff always fascinated me. So we have that. So here's some Marvel Legends Captain Marvels. So these are the same figures, and this is a figure where there's people like me that are OCD, and it's kind of like I just don't want the one figure and then have to constantly swap the heads back and forth. I'll just buy two of them, and I'll just keep one head permanently as the masked helm to Captain Marvel, and the other one just the unmasked one. And I think this one does a better job of capturing Brie Larson's likeness than this one. So as you can see, they're kind of a little bit different. The hair length's different. The hairstyle's different. Yeah, I like this a lot, but I like her more in green. And I want to say, I think for this figure, this is when she was with the Kree. I think with this figure, they only gave you the one head, which I believe is this one. So I think I might have bought this. I might have bought this figure like 3 times just so I could have this extra head to put on here. Maybe 4, because now that I think about it, I used another one of these heads for a G.I. Joe custom I made. I gotta double check. Maybe this figure came with 2 heads. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I love the look of this character in green when she's with the Kree. And what's awesome too is that there's a wrestler, Tegan Knox. She wrestles for WWE and she works out of NXT. And she's a big fan of Captain Marvel, and she'll post videos of her training with like Brie Larson and stuff. And then some of her wrestling gear is kind of decked out to look like Captain Marvel in both forms, the green uniform and in the red one. And I think even wrestler Johnny Gargano has he's a male wrestler. I think even has a Captain Marvel inspired wrestling gear. But I think that's based off of the red one. And then here's another Captain Marvel. This is Captain Marvel in her bomber jacket. And it's really cool. The only thing that's weird is that sometimes if I look at this the right or the wrong way, if the face doesn't look like Brie Larson, sometimes it looks more like Amy Poehler from Parks and Rec. But it's a great figure. For some reason, action figures, especially superheroes, whenever they give them a coat over their superhero costume, all of a sudden it becomes like some sort of weird fashion statement, and it's cool. It's kind of like 90s Cyclops. He's wearing his uniform, but then he has his bomber jacket over it. 90s Rogue has a leather jacket over hers. Gambit, he's traditionally, most of the time, always wore a trench coat over his costume. In the Snyderverse, Justice League, Nightmare Batman, he wears that long duster coat. So I don't know what it is with wearing coats over costumes, but apparently it's a thing. I don't know. Right now, I was just checking out her butt. For some reason, this figure's butt looks flatter than the other one. I don't know. Maybe this version of the figure, like always, doesn't do leg day or doesn't get her squats in or something. So yeah. This was a look at Avengers Endgame budget Captain Marvel. If I had to rate her numerically, 8. I like her a lot. The only thing that keeps her from being a 9 is that, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. There could have been more articulation with legs, because some of the budget Marvel figures we get nowadays for $10, they're giving us more leg movement. The legs can actually kick out, and then they're giving us knee articulation. But for what I'm doing right now, assembling a team of budget Avengers at the 5.5-inch scale, she fits perfectly. I'm really looking forward to getting that group together, and maybe I'll even do a video on it. So, this is a wonderful figure. If you could find her for $10, give or take $1, I'd say get it. I say this in all my budget reviews of the figures, is that if you've been collecting Marvel Legends for some time now, there's a good chance you've probably completed at least one set of comic book inspired Avengers and maybe 2 or 3 sets of the MCU versions of the characters. So do yourself a favor and start branching out. Hunt these down and see if you could put together a team of budget Avenger figures at a different scale. And I think that's all I have to say for this one. So, once again, my name is Lou. Thank you for checking out my video. I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you devote a couple of minutes, of your day to check this out. As I say before, I know I don't necessarily put out the best reviews, and some of these action figures have been on the shelves for a long time, and there's probably dozens to hundreds of reviews on them already. But for me, it's just a chance for me to, share my history with these characters, share some of my stories with comic books, and it gives me a chance to kind of fiddle around and actually play with these toys, so I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. So I hope you're doing well, and stop by anytime. Take care.